Hey guys, Stock Series episode 58. I'm recording this on a Thursday because I'm away for the weekend, so it's not a full week's performance, but see how we go. Could change from by the time you see this. So down about 1,000 from last week, some sort of various ups and downs. I have incurred a little bit of costs because I've finally transferred to IG from iWeb. So I had a Hargreaves Lansdowne ISA and an iWeb ISA, if anybody's unaware, and I've now transferred both of those to IG. The interface is a little bit professional, a little bit sort of busy, so I just thought I'd, for the sake of sort of showing it for the video, and I just prefer to sort of view it on the HL app. Don't have to log in then as well, so if you see this HL app, I'm not with them anymore, but yeah, so I sold all of the polymetal in this ISA. I basically sort of used that because it was a British stock and I didn't have to pay the heavy foreign exchange fee. So it was always sort of a temporary one until I got over to IG. And then I wanted to I was originally thinking swap over to the VanEck Junior and the main miners, sort of split half and half. But the more I sort of looked at them, the more I thought I'd rather sort of have a look through and pick a few for myself, really. So I've done exactly that. I've gone with Barrick Gold. Sort of pretty much the second biggest gold miner. So seemed pretty good value. So we'll go for them. Kinross. Also, most of these were sort of from reading up on them, reading their cost of production and sort of financials, future earnings and that sort of thing. So they all look pretty good. So went with Kinross, went with Anglo Gold Ashanti, which is already quite a bit down, so it's not gone very well. Gold's down sort of a little at the moment, but I think it's just a bit of a temporary lull. Freeport McMoran, which actually does quite a lot of copper, but I didn't mind getting a little bit more into copper, fairly bullish on that. So they do copper and gold, which is sort of interesting mix. So went with them. Went with Yamana Gold, seemed pretty good. Sandstorm Gold, which is a sort of small cap royalty, mainly gold royalty company. So I've got Metalla Royalty, which does a little bit of silver, and now I've got Sandstorm, which is mainly gold. So yeah, most of these are in the red now, looking pretty terrible, but longer term I think should do well. So that is the IG account now. Down slightly. It did cost me a little bit of fees and whatnot, FX fees. The foreign exchange fees they're pretty much the same as free trade, just a little bit over free trade. So it's not quite as good as Trading212, but I've sort of said I always want to run two brokers long term. So yeah, paid a little bit in fees to make these trades, but yeah, it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things. Certainly not compared to iWeb and Hargreaves Lansdowne. So yeah, that's the new IG ISA. Just looking at the Trading212 then. So not huge change. Sort of on looking at sort of from the weekend, down a couple £100. Not huge difference really. Expecting, not sure what Argo blockchain will be at. Just had a bit of a push on Bitcoin at the moment after the UK market is shut. And obviously you'll have Friday to see what happens before this is released. So see where that goes. Bitcoin ETP sort of pretty much flat. Again, should be rising tomorrow if we keep with that rise. Sentiment sort of down with the rest of the gold. Yeah, so Digital Realty isn't actually up 2%. That's from sort of Friday's rise. First Majestic down a little with silver down. Yeah, so I've kept my polymetal in the Trading212 ISA. I think that's enough polymetal. Sylvania Platinum, not quite down that much. It's down a little bit from Monday's open. Not too bad. Stag pretty flat. And Tritax, Big Box and Eurobox both reported pretty good earnings. So yeah, they've taken a real pop sort of from earlier in the week, £2.10, £2.11 up to £2.24. And Eurobox has risen a little as well. So very good. Industrial real estate seems to be performing. I am looking at possibly dropping one of my UK healthcare care home ones. Just sort of long term, I sort of thought I'd have Target and Impact Healthcare and sort of see which one of the two I prefer. And I'd quite like to diversify a little bit, looking at Vici Properties, the casino, sort of US casino operator. So they obviously don't run the casinos, they just own them and take a rent. And so I was looking at Vici and MGM Growth Properties, partly from a video that I saw from Joseph Carlson. Sort of looked into them from then and was sort of keeping them both on the watch list and wasn't really sure which one to buy. And Vici have just announced that they're buying MGM Growth Properties. So sort of made that decision for me. And yeah, I'm thinking of possibly selling either Assura or Primary Health Properties as well. Just so I've got one sort of doctor's surgery type REIT and then one care home REIT. Yeah, sort of a little bit over maybe on UK REITs. So yeah, just feel that's diversifies a little bit more. And yeah, see where we go from there. So I've got to pick between the 4 UK REITs, which one to drop. Yes, so the invest account is actually up slightly from the weekend. Did sort of rise up earlier in the week, but has had a few sort of poor results in the last sort of day or two. Just sort of quickly skimming through some of these. So Anthem, not doing too well. Cardinal Health have had sort of a fairly horrendous earnings. Seems to be sort of some forecasts that they made last year from the pandemic, and that's sort of coming home to roost. An accounting decision apparently that they made. Need to read a little bit more into it, but doesn't seem to be long term an issue. So not sure whether I'll buy into this, buy the dip on it. Might just leave it, let it run. But yeah, that's caused a bit of a drop. eBay down a little bit as well from the highs of last week. Earnings again, don't think was all that good, but still seem fairly bullish to me. FedEx is a little bit down. Glencore, yeah, some of them are sort of 1 or 2% as always. Nothing too much. Check on the global water ETF, 2% up as always. It's just getting a joke now. What else have we got? Johnson & Johnson fairly flat. Kia Group's flat. Kroger, fairly good week for Kroger, 3% up. Lennar, fairly flat. Lockheed Martin down a little bit, not particularly bullish earnings, but nothing too bad. Nintendo's been dropping quite a bit. Not quite as bad as it shows on there. It's not 6% from last week, 6% from last sort of Thursday. But yeah, dropping a fair bit, but nothing too bad long term that I can see. Porsche fairly flat, Process fairly flat. Renault not doing too bad actually from the weekend. Rio Tinto's down a little bit, not too good news from them, but fine longer term. Shell up a couple of percent. Seneca Foods, a little bit of a drop. That's been doing well sort of last couple of months, so fairly happy with that still. Siemens, a little bit of outperformance, so that's propping up some of the losses. Stellantis as well, doing pretty well. Earnings fairly positive, and sort of outlook for the EV transformation seems pretty good. Turtle Beach down. Again, sort of not particularly good news from them, but balance sheet looks fine, earnings look fine, so carry on holding. Tyson just down a little. Vale, fairly poor results from what I saw, but not too bad. Still, it's a commodity spread that I'm pretty happy with, so just got to wait for that to rise. And yeah, Viatris a little bit low. Volkswagen pretty flat. So yeah, I'm waiting on obviously some things to pan out with some of these stocks. Got to keep the long-term look really, and hopefully sort of more crypto later in the year, hopefully to sell and maybe buy some of these on the dip, or possibly put some more into ETFs on the IG account now that I've got that. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and like and subscribe. See you soon.